A very warm welcome to all our viewers. And my guest this evening is Mr. Tridiv Hazarika. He is the spokesperson for Oil India Limited in Assam. Welcome to the show, Tridiv. Thank you so much for sparing some time and joining me on Candid Conversations from the House of the Sentinel.
Hi,
So,
hi, Oineetom. Happy New Year to you.
thank you to you too. So it's been, more than 200 days now. It took 159 days for the fire to be brought under control. Because we are, of course, referring to the big blaze that took place on June 9th last year, that is 2020, when the oil well number 5 blew out in Baghjan in Assam's Tinsukia district. Now, after over 200 days, I'm sure at that particular point of time when this entire thing happened, starting May 27th, when the first blowout took place, how we look at it is that the Oil India Limited, it really got exposed. There was a lack of expertise, lack of technologies, lack of experts, and also it came across as if Oil India was, at least in Assam, was not really prepared to take care of any such eventuality. How do you look back at this whole accident?
Oineetom, I think let us put certain things in perspective.
Yeah.
Yes, on 27th of May, we had the Baghjan blowout, which eventually began one of the most, in terms of disaster, in terms of oil and gas sector, it is one of the major disasters that India has seen in oil and gas sector. There's no two ways about it.
Hmm.
But there is this constant narrative that Oil India lacked expertise, that we didn't have experts, that we were not prepared to
Hmm.
encounter or face a situation like this. Now, let me clarify. Number one is that you see, when you have a blowout of these proportions, whether it's Oil India Limited, whether it is ONGCL, whether it's any of the MNCs all across the world, you'll observe that the firefighting and well-controlled experts whom we have hired, in this case, Mrs. Alert from Singapore, there are only such
Yeah.
three companies worldwide currently who
Hmm.
are giving services to companies 10 times our size all over the world, handling these kind of blowouts. No companies, and I repeat, no companies even 10 times our size would be able to
Hmm.
have all the expertise and experts required to handle a blowout. Number one. There are various situations where we would have some blowout, near blowout type challenges, which whether it's Oil India Limited or whether it's ONGC, our own talent, our own internal resources, our own manpower, we have been handling it years after years. As I said, this is the first such incident in our 60-year-old journey, wherein we had a
Hmm.
almost 6-month-year-old blowout. So the question of expertise is
Right.
it's not in the right perspective. In terms of preparation,
Hmm.
yes, we all are all EMP companies. We have to be prepared for such eventualities. We are prepared. But when a blowout
Hmm.
of this proportion happens, then apart from being prepared, you need to take help. And we have this industry partnership wherein even if there is a major fire in IOC, God forbid tomorrow, then Oil
Yeah.
India Limited, ONGC, all the industry partners, we help each other. So there have been various such accidents in Northeast where Oil India has helped some
Hmm.
industries. So here, sometimes you need
Hmm.
help from other sources to handle an accident of these proportions. But yes, this is also equally true that when such incidents takes place, we also learn certain things. There's a lot of lessons to be learned, and we are
Right.
also reviewing our
Yeah.
SOP. We are trying to strengthen our CMT team so that we will be in a
Hmm.
position to handle such crisis even better in the future. God forbid it happens. I'm mostly referring to the
Yes.
proactive part of handling the crisis. Yeah.
Yes, in fact, I would really, the purpose of having you on the show today is to get informed about the lessons learned. Like you said, one of the, worst disaster that India has seen. Assam, of course, is one state here in this wide, big country, and really wanted to hear from you. What are the lessons learned, and what are some of those best practices that not just oil here in Assam, I'm sure across India, oil operations are going to change. They must, like you mentioned about the SOP, these things I'm sure the ministry and the authorities, the management of oil must have already come up with. Would that actually is the reason why I wanted you on the show today, to hear more from you about the best practices being adopted by Oil India at this point of time.
First of all, let me take you back to the blowout itself. 27th of May, when the blowout took place. When we look back now, apart from losing very sadly three of our own family members, oil employees who were in action, there was no civil casualties. That is something which we, as we look
Hmm.
back, we say a lot of, we thank the good Lord. We are also in a way proud in the sense that our firefighting crew, our employees, and with the help of district administration and the SDRF and NDRF, everybody pulled in to we could ensure that there is no civilian casualties, in terms of that nobody there actually got hurt from this major fire. That was because of whatever practices, whatever SOPs was in place or is in place, ensure that we could evacuate
Mhm.
people at a rapid pace. We could set up those,
Right.
zones, hazard zones very fast,
Hmm. Hmm.
and then
Hmm.
also the camps. And yes, as and when the foreign experts came in, and together the ONGC friends from the ONGC, Oil India, and the foreign experts from Alert, in the last 5 months, as we started combating the fire and the blowout and try to control the well, understandably over this period,
Hmm.
our top management, our internal experts, we have categorically understood certain areas where we could improve our
Yeah.
operations, where we could bring in some technology also. And I'm sure the government at the highest
Hmm.
level are also looking at how the preparedness of handling such crisis can be further improved. And as I told you that blowout is a international
Right.
phenomena where top end companies in the world, which are, as I told you, 10 to 15 times our size, also have to rely on external experts when this crisis takes place. So it's very difficult to have all the solutions within your company when the crisis is of this proportion. Our main focus actually now on it is to ensure that this never recur. We can proactively ensure that such incidents do not happen at all. Prevention, I
Right.
think, is the biggest key to this entire management of such a crisis. So not that we are not thinking
Mhm.
very seriously about it. A lot of serious things are going on. Of course, my technical colleagues, they are very shortly, they are coming up and they are sharing with us. And in near time, I'm sure we'll be able to share with the audience exactly what are the A, B, C, D steps or
Mhm.
new technology or what we have incorporated. We are already in the process of incorporating, and we've already incorporated certain new ideas, additional steps to ensure that these incidents do not recur in the future.
Yes, because people out there, they're still very, very scared. Uh, you know it more than I do because you're already there at the site, at the location where this unfortunate incident took place, and thousands of families were displaced. Yes, due credit to you for having saved so many lives uh, due to your prompt action, evacuating so many families. The number that we got from your side, from Oil India's side, it stands at around 1600 families who were immediately shifted out, given shelter, all of that. Otherwise, of course, the casualty would have been really, really high. So there, all the due credit to you. But even now, after more than 6 months, people are very, very scared. Like I mentioned, many have already left their homes, their livelihood now at stake. So, what do you have to tell to all those families and the
Uh,
people who are there?
Yes, Oineetom, we also appreciate the fact that when the local communities who are in and around the Baghjan blowout well,
Yeah.
what they have witnessed, understandably, there will be a question of their anxiety. They have gone
Hmm.
through a very, very difficult time over 3 to 4 months. Some of the people have to stay in camps for over 3 to 4 months. We have been in constant touch. There has been several one-to-one interaction with the impacted communities, along with Oil India team in the presence of district administration and other officials. We have been, we have very patiently listened to their concerns. So there are three things in this. A, of course, is the compensation. That, as you
Yes.
know, we are guided by the NGT verdict. We have given you, we have responded to the interim order, and as per the verdict, we have disbursed the entire compensation package, which was supposed to be to the good office of deputy commissioners, and his office in turn are ensuring that it goes to the beneficiaries, the impacted population. That's number one. Number two, of course, we are all waiting for the final verdict of the NGT, and whatever issue pertaining to the compensation is still there, that will be finally settled, and All India will promptly ensure that whatever compensation is left to be disbursed, if at all, if any, that will take prompt action. The third point, which you rightly asked, is that to build the confidence of the people, not necessarily only in the Baghjan area,
Yes.
in the other areas where we are operating. You see, there are 2 to 3 ways of doing it. A is that, of course, this is the first time that we faced such a situation in the last 60 years. We had a blowout in Dicom in 2005, and after 15 years, we had this incident in Baghjan. So we are trying to communicate, reach out to the grassroots, to the door to door, and tell the people in simplistic manner, but technically sound manner, that how we will try to ensure their safety in terms of our operations, how we are ensuring their safety, and most importantly, that see, the entire message from Baghjan is that yes, an incident took place, but Oil India would never back out. That's very important. One, we will fight till the end to ensure that the incident is taken care of. We mitigate the incident, we control the well, and we would always stand with our community, with the population in and around our operation areas. Not only immediate compensation, but we also look into their future as well. It's not only immediate compensation, as you rightly said, that issues of their livelihood, building their confidence of again going about their life normally. So we are
No.
trying our best. We are taking the help of the district administration. They're helping us a lot in communicating these aspects, that we are with the people. Our CSR is very focused. We have been trying our best to ensure that inclusive growth is achieved. As and All India grows, we want the community to grow. And in fact, believe you me, although yes, you could be witnessing protest against All India from the local communities. It's understandable. They are in agony. It happened, but we will still say that by and large, we still have the love and the respect of the communities for All India Limited. This has happened not overnight. It took us 60, 70, 80 years. If you get back into a legacy, it's over 100 years. It took 100 years to develop this bond, this understanding, this faith with the local communities. Not that we don't have issues, there are issues, but we have always tried to resolve our issues over the table, mostly bipartite efforts to resolve our issues. And at times we take the help of district administration. They have been always kind to our issues and also the issues of the communities. And we have always tried to find solutions. We are absolutely we understand, our top management realizes that when you have such an incident, it is very, very justifiable for the local community to be to feel slightly unsure of what happens to their lives
Yes.
in the future, a bit scared of what has happened. But I think slowly it'll take some time. It'll not happen overnight. We are trying our best. As our CMV has gone on record in the very first press conference immediately after the fire, somebody asked him about the financial impact on the blowout, and CMV sir
Yeah.
said,
Right.
the social minister, that it's
Yes.
not the financials, it's the hit on our image that Baghjan has taken in
Right.
her.
Yes. Sir.
So we are trying our best to see that lost image, whatever portion of the image we have lost in the process because of Baghjan, we are able to get it back.
Right. Yeah. The people's emotion when it comes to any of our public sector companies, be it Oil India, be it Coal India, people kind of feel that, okay, once these companies, these public sector units uh, invest or step into a certain region, they feel that their lives are going to improve manifold. So I guess there's there's a lot now that you all will have to do, because surely last year has been really tough for all of you. Like you mentioned, three of your own people from your family, that is how you people refer to each other in the oil community, like every other community, uh, you've lost them. And also Oil India has been under a lot of you drew a lot of flack for so many months, and I guess we are still pointing a finger at all of you. There's this huge trust deficit which is still there, and you've mentioned that you all are trying your best to overcome all of those things. Now, there was another issue. This is regarding you all getting the environmental clearances without going in for public hearings. Now, this also, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, there's this entire issue of the seven hydrocarbon projects as well. So there has been a lot of, legal issues that has been there for Oil India, plus the big factor of trust deficit as far as the people are concerned. So going ahead, how are things going to look like for Oil India?
You see, first of all, in terms of the environmental clearances which we have applied for and which we have got, okay. See, we are a PSU to start with. We are a government company. We follow each and every rule of the land. Whatever formalities that we have to undergo, whatever due diligence which we need to do, whatever public hearings we are mandated by law to be part of, we have always done. There is not a single instance where Oil India has backed out of any legally mandated,
Yes.
I think we've just lost.
Yes, we lost the internet. Yes,
Yeah.
and we are back. Yeah.
Yeah. What I'm saying that as a government responsible PSU, we were always guided by the rule of the land. So whatever the government and the various bodies, statutory bodies, whatever steps and action that we need to initiate, which is mandated by law for us to be in a position to get the licenses which we have received or which we apply for, we will always do. We have to do it, and we always do it, because the moment we violate, we cannot afford to violate, because if you violate, then you will not be able to operate. It's as simple as that. And we are here. You are talking to a company which is a 100-year-old legacy. So we would reiterate and say that whatever mandated by law, whether it's a public hearing, whether it's anything else that we need to do as a corporate to get those environmental clearances and licenses and permissions, we always do, we have always done. But then you're equally right. We also understand there is a whole concept called social license. Beyond compliance and government licenses, we would also want, as a corporate entity, that people, by and large, especially the communities in and around our operational areas, they also have to accept us. Accept our presence, and they also have to realize. See, today, I think, Oineetom, I must take this opportunity to share with you something very important facts about Oil India Limited. Because you see, if you look at the entire economics of Assam, you look at the industrial economics of Assam. Today, Oil India Limited, we are singularly responsible for the survival of 9 other industries to start with. It's only our gas which is used by companies like BCPL, companies like Assam Petrochemical Limited, BVFCL. Okay, over 400 tea gardens are dependent on the natural gas which we produce. All the power companies are drawing natural gas from us. We are providing, of course, crude oil, understandably, to the refineries in Assam. So if Oil India Limited, if we cannot continue with our operations, if we as an entity do not grow, if we are tomorrow not in a position to increase our natural gas production, because gas is a future fuel, right? Then there will be a huge crisis in Assam, especially in the industries in Upper Assam. So there is a very delicate balance in terms
Right.
of Oil India's future, Oil India's present, Oil India's health, and the health of these sister companies with whom we have huge relationship. We understand that because when there is a obstruction of our operation for whatever reasons, 2 or 3 days of obstruction of our operations doesn't only hit our bottom line, doesn't only hit our our production targets, it immediately hits the entire industries, all these industries which I have taken names right
Yes.
now, and all the
Hmm.
people who are employed. See, we have
Right.
around 6,000 plus employees in a direct payroll.
Hmm.
But believe me, if you calculate the influence of Oil India Limited, the indirect influence in terms of people that we touch could be over
Yeah.
lakhs. So that's why we are also we understand how sensitive is Oil India Limited, our operations is or are to the future
Hmm.
and the present of for Northeast and
Right.
mostly Upper Assam. So I'm telling you this, the people are aware of this. Every
Hmm.
day we interact with the local communities, the leaders of various student organizations, public organizations, NGOs, Mahila Samitis, with whom we daily
Hmm.
interact.
Hmm.
Closed doors over a cup of tea. I can tell you the way I'm talking to you. It's the same atmosphere, the same atmospherics which we have,
Hmm.
and they understand. They realize, and we are very proud. You see, our byline is our catchphrase is Oil India Limited, the people's company. We have been very honest in expressing and accepting the fact that without the support of the people at our personally, because we are unlike a refinery, we don't operate inside closed boundaries.
Hmm.
Our drill locations are spread. We have over 200, 400 odd producing wells. We are every day we are drilling. We're going into new virgin areas. Even in existing areas, we are trying to find new oil. So
Hmm.
we are always with the communities. We have to be with the community. So we are very sensitive, and we will respect
Hmm.
whatever criticism that has come on Oil India Limited post Baghjan, during
Yes.
Baghjan. We with all humility we accept it, and we will try to respond and correct wherever we need to make corrective steps. We are very we accept it. We are not at all ever trying to say that everything was hunky dory, everything is fine. And because you see, a blowout takes place only for three reasons: either it is a sabotage, which is not the case in this case,
Right.
or human error, or a technical failure. Now, various studies are being done. Independent national bodies are trying to find out exactly why Baghjan happened. So
Hmm.
once again, these studies are in public domain. I'm sure we'll all get to know exactly what happened and how we can ensure it never repeats.
Yes, all the corrective steps will be taken immediately. Now,
Right.
of course, like your the productivity as far as Oil India Northeastern operations is concerned, I think Assam is the highest contributor. And if I go
Yes.
by 2018-19 figures, it's about what 8,294 million metric ton production. This is
Daily.
these are figures of 2018-19, and 98% is from Assam.
Right.
And Oil India Assam's share is the maximum at 77.5%.
Right.
So that's a lot. That's a lot of production. But this particular incident has definitely dealt a body blow to the production as well. Though your management, and the CMD, you all are not taking that much into account, as you all are more concerned about the people there and the image, the damage to the image of Oil India. But financial year closing in, so, how is Oil India placed at this point of time, and what do you think is the new year going to hold for Oil India?
Uh, well, yes, Baghjan has taken, we have taken a blow because of Baghjan for obvious reasons.
Yeah.
Of course, there's always a financial side to it. Yes, our
Hmm.
operations were hampered. We lost a fair amount of natural gas and crude oil in terms of direct losses due to the incident. That's always there. But we are trying our best to make up that losses by augmenting our production, trying to find more oil, new oil in,
Hmm.
so that's always there. In
Right.
terms of, as I told you, the last quarter of this current financial year, there are a few good positive signs for E&P business. Of course,
Hmm.
the crude oil price, which had fallen down, as
Hmm.
now somewhere around $50, which is reasonably healthy for E&P company like us. And as I say, of course, gas will always be the future fuel. We have
Right.
reasonable gas reserves, and the government recently has said that a lot of impetus on natural gas. Hopefully, in the coming years, and in fact, right as I speak to you, we are launching a very important mission in Oil India Limited. This mission is mission 4 million tons per annum. We have been, our production have been hovering around 3.2, 3.3 for the last quite many years. And our management has taken a decision based on the results which we have and efforts we put in, that by the year 2024-25, we should be in a position to increase our production to 4 million metric tons. So we have started this campaign, and this will be something, a very, very serious efforts on our part to increase our production to around 11,000 kiloliters per day, from around 9,000 levels to 11,000 in the next 2 to 3 years. We are very confident with the kind of acreages which we have, the plans which we have, the kind of wells which we intend to drill in the coming 2 to 3 years. We are very hopeful that we can increase and augment our production, and that will imply that all the industries which we service, because we are a B2B companies, so we can increase our gas production, we can increase our crude oil production, and for national energy security, this is very important. As you know that we are basically a country, we are importing more than 80% of our crude oil from overseas. So that takes a dent on our, on a balance sheet, the balance sheet. So the government wants companies like us to increase our production. We have targets for 2020. We had targets for 2020. We have targets for 2030. That's the government of India's vision, Honorable Prime Minister's vision. So we are trying our best to contribute our share to that vision, to ensure that we can bring down India's dependence on imported crude. So we are trying our best.
Right. So once again, coming back to what the people are thinking there in Baghjan, in those villages around the accident site, they still feel, of course, we cannot, deny the fact, yes, human casualties has been, thankfully, only 3 lives lost, and the life of that farmer who allegedly committed suicide. So a very unfortunate incident there. But yes, the human casualty has been thankfully low, but really, really huge damage done to the environment and the ecology. And what the locals are still saying is that all the drilling activities and all the activities which are going on, somewhere they still feel that Oil India is still not taking the necessary steps to preserve the environment. What do you have to say about that?
I think, Oineetom, I just want to briefly tell you, kind of effort that we have done on the environment side. You see, we also carried out a subsidence study to assess the impact around the Upper Assam oil field area of oil, including Dibru Saikhowa, National Park. The state study was carried out during 2017-18. We have engaged MS National Remote Sensing Center, NSR, is a very respected center in Hyderabad, of Indian Space Research Organization, and a report established that there is no remarkable subsidence around the oil fields of oil. And whatever mitigation measures proposed are already under the process of implementation. For wildlife management around Dibru Saikhowa National Park, Wildlife Sanctuary, under Wildlife Division of Tinsukia, we have already committed during a meeting with the Additional Chief Secretary, Government of Assam on 17th of June 2019 to contribute one-time capex fund rupees 20 crore in and around Dibru Saikhowa National Park, which is Baghjan, Podumani Wildlife Sanctuary. Now, as a responsible ENP operator, we have restored over 35 hectare lands by completing plantation of 64,500 trees by August 2019 with the help of Council of Scientific and Industrial Research, Northeast Institute of Science and Technology, Jorhat, with aim of bringing back lands to its original conditions in abundant well sites at 7 locations. We have also engaged job to CSIR NEIST Jorhat very recently for bringing the planted trees and to develop natural jungle area in the said areas within a span of 3 years up to 2023. Efforts are also undertaken by Oil India by engaging its own resources and hired services from organizations of national repute to minimize impacts on the environment and to recuperate from the damage caused to the environment. Internally, picking up, the condensate was carried out by oil. Sorbents were used to contain the spread of condensate. And this I want to, for the information of our viewers, the following organizations are actively involved for the purpose mentioned above. Like MSERM India Private Limited, the Energy Resource Institute, Assam University, CSIR Northeast Institute of Science and Technology, IIT Guwahati, and then bioremediation is something which is being done by TERI. It's a process of recuperating the original properties of oil-contaminated soil and water by treating with oil-consuming bacteria. The Energy Research Institute, it's a pioneer in the field of bioremediation in India with some proven highly effective technology for bioremediation. We have engaged study with the objective to recuperate the original properties of whatever soil and water are contaminated with oil spillage due to Baghjan blowout. And from oil, we happily want to inform you that Competent Authority of Assam Agriculture University, they have deputed experts to assess damage to the crops, to the trees, to the plants, paddy, tea, fruit, vegetation in the area, likely to be affected by the blowout and subsequent fire that happened in blowout. Yeah. This study has already started. The final report on this is very important. I think people want to know that the final report on geophysical studies, which has been submitted by CSIR and NAST, this has been submitted to us. No such geophysical disturbances has been observed during the blowout time. That's their study. But the report on thermal mapping and sound frequency measurement, we are awaiting that study. Once these reports are available with us, we will share it in public domain, and I'm sure people will be able to understand how seriously we are looking into the impact that Baghjan has made on environment, both immediate impact, long-term impact, and we have done concurrent study when the blowout was going on. We are making studies as and when the Baghjan blowout was controlled, and we're also looking into the distant future also. So I think together with, and we have taken inputs from the Forest Department, from the Government of India, from the Government of Assam, various advices are coming to All India Limited, whether from the Assam Pollution Control Board. So we are taking cognizance into all these suggestions and all these reputed agencies who have already started work. Hopefully, this will be just like the DECOM story, because if you go back to DECOM, you'll find a DECOM tea estate is supposed to be one of the most prolifically producing tea estate in Assam. They are into the Linka Book of Records for producing the costliest tea. And DECOM blowout took place exactly almost in the heart of the DECOM tea estate. So I think, of course, it took some time, but we are very confident. And God also has been reasonably kind to Northeast, to Assam. The nature takes due care also because of the kind of rainfall which we have and the kind of environment which we have here. The growth of vegetation is much faster compared to perhaps other parts of the country. So nature is also on our side, and with all these efforts put together, we should be able to mitigate the impact that's already taken place and ensure that we can get back to conditions before this as early as we can.
Okay, yes. And of course, yes, God has been kind and the environment here, but we should not actually take our environment so much for granted. Yes. Yeah. And
you see, Oineetom, let me put you, see, we have been operating for, as I told you, 6 decades, and oil industry in Assam, if you look at Digway discovery 1889, so we have been there for almost 150 years, because actually discovery, the entire exploration of oil industry took place in the 1860s, and 1860s, and then it's a long journey. All I'm trying to say is this, that if you still go back and visit the Digway field of Oil India Limited, you see, I think you will still see reasonable forest cover, and we have large number of wells in those areas. So I think we are not denying the fact that oil and gas industry is a hazardous industry. We have definite impact on the environment, but I think if proper care is taken, if we make all out efforts we can still strike a balance, of ensuring that whatever impact we have is absolutely limited. And as years have rolled by, newer technologies have come, where our impact could be minimized to a large extent because of various new ideas, new materials, new eco-friendly, materials which we now use while we carry out our operations. So as years are passing by, new technologies are also helping us out. Things like bioremediation, as I told you, was not there maybe 20, 15 years ago. Now we can reclaim areas much faster than we were able to do maybe decades back. So I'm sure with new developments taking place, science improving very rapidly, and very stringent laws also coming in. Laws are very favorable to safeguarding the environment and the concern of the community, which we respect. Sustainable development is a focus area for companies. We are bounded by various rules and very stringent, regulations to ensure that we follow the norms. So it's a journey where we all have to walk together. The regulators, industry like ours, the community, the NGOs, and eventually, of course, Mother Nature and God also needs to bless us at times, especially when we have crises like this. Yes.
Absolutely, absolutely. And what I also feel is that people of Assam, they always had this very close connect with natural resources like oil. The entire Assam agitation. I'm sure you still remember the slogans which were raised at that point of
Yeah.
time, and people of Assam, of India, they really feel a lot for the public sector companies like Coal India and Oil India, ONGC. They really feel that, okay, these big guys are here, they will take care of us. So maybe that is somewhere when this entire Baghjan accident took place, people must have really felt hurt, really hurt deep within, because like we've been discussing, the trust factor really got shattered. But hopefully, like you have mentioned, you have listed out a lot of things that Oil India is doing at this point of time. Soon after the accident took place, you are all doing a lot of studies, taking remedial steps, and making all out effort adopting the bestest technology so that such accidents, incidents do not take place in future. Thank you so much, Mr. Hazarika, for joining me this evening and hoping that Oil India is back, completely back on track. The people of Baghjan, whatever they have lost, they're able to reclaim as much as is possible, and the damage caused to the environment, we are able to mitigate uh, to the extent possible. I'm
On
wishing you all the best. Yes.
As I thank you, I would like to thank some very important stakeholders who have helped us during this crisis. We are very grateful, first, of course, to the people of Baghjan and adjoining areas for going through that difficult period. And they still have been very kind with All India Limited. They've helped us in our crisis. We are always with them. They're always with us. We are very grateful to the district administration, especially Tinsukia district, both the DCs, Mr. Pegu, we're indebted to him during the initial days. We are very indebted to our own ministry, Ministry of Petroleum and Natural Gas, to the government of Assam. The Chief Minister of the state personally came and gave his time, tried to help both us and, of course, the community. Our Honorable Petroleum Minister, Dharmendra Pradhanji, came here. Our Additional Secretary, our Chief Secretary, MOPNG, they all came, all were in Duliajan. They went to the Baghjan side and try to understand what the ground situation. We are very thankful to the Indian Army, to our own CISF team here, to Assam Police. I hope I don't miss anybody here. To the media at large. Media has been rightfully very critical when it needed to be, but they also understood that this is a crisis where there were times when they also had to ensure that we could at least attend to the main task of mitigating the crisis. We are indebted to the media. We are indebted to various other stakeholders, the NGOs, the environmental NGOs. Let me tell you this: we have received a lot of emails coming in from environmental experts also, who were critical, no doubt about that, what happened, but they were very, very nice in sharing their perspective on what we can do to mitigate the impact on the environment. So we have seen how the stakeholders were genuinely concerned with Oil India Limited's challenge at that point of time. We intended to our various other business entities whom we have relationship. The tea gardens management, they also helped us. This list is a long list. I fear missing out somebody at this moment. But then, of course, I must take the name of Sri S.C. Mishra, our CMD, Oil India Limited, and the entire functional directors, our independent directors, the entire board. See, our CMD and directors camped in Duliajan for 3 months. Let me tell you, during COVID, most of our top management, our residency executive, Mr. Dilip Kumar Das, Mr. Prashant Borkakodi, ED, HR, all, and including CMD himself and directors, they have all suffered COVID, because having suffered COVID also, they could not back out, because that was a demand of the times. So we have gone through all that. We have lost 3 colleagues. One of our very dear senior, Mr. Kalyan Gogoi was in the forefront of Baghjan operations, very senior, officer of the company from drilling discipline. He eventually suffered from COVID and expired. So, I mean, unbelievable sacrifices made by our own employees, weathering the rain at that point of time. Initially, there was
Right.
monsoon, floods,
Yes.
and the heat that was there at the
Mm.
site, unbelievable. So, a lot of people have sacrificed immensely, and we are indebted to all of them. And once again, All India Limited firmly believes that on inclusive growth, we want that for every single step we want to take our stakeholders together with us, especially our communities. And whatever happens, if there have been some issues which we could have better handled, we are humble enough to accept it. We are always there for the community, for the people of the state. Yes, Assam is the bread, butter, and cheese of All India Limited. We don't deny it. Almost 90 plus percentage of production from Assam, and we have some massive plans for Assam in the coming 4 to 5 years.
Mhm.
I told you.
Right.
So once those activities takes place, it will percolate down both
Mhm.
to our business partners, our contractors, and the local population who will also derive benefit of our operations. I thank the
Absolutely.
Technical Group for providing us this platform. Oineetom, once again, Happy New Year and Happy Bihu in advance.
Thank you. Yes, thank you. And from the House of Sentinel, thank you so much for being on the show. A very happy new year and Bihu greetings to you and your entire team. Oil India, Coal India, all these public sector companies are really important for us because with you, the entire economy, the livelihoods of so many people, the economy of Assam, the well being of the people of Assam is directly and indirectly related. Thank you once again, and thank you, viewers, for joining me this evening on another episode of Candid Conversation. Thank you, and goodbye.
Thank you. Thank you. Thanks.
Thank you. Bye.